Hello, this is Pastor Terry Goodman, and I want to welcome you to the Wesleyan Connection. This podcast is primarily for the clergy and laity of the Holston Annual Conference. Join with me now as I take a look around the Connection and share some of the things happening in the churches of our annual conference. One of the things that I am attempting to do with these podcasts is to help us as a church to understand that not all ministry happens in the bounds of a local church, especially when you're United Methodist. You see, we're part of a connectional church, meaning that we support one another in ministries near and far. The things that we do on Sunday at our church, sure, that's great for us and for our local community. But when we take up that offering, a part of those funds go to help us with the church in other parts of our region, our nation, and the world around us. I want to talk with some of the folks that are involved in those kinds of ministries. For instance, today we're going to be hearing a brief interview with Beth Tipton, who is the director of the University of Virginia College at Wise Wesley Foundation. So I ask that you just sort of listen and learn as you see how you as a church are having an impact upon the lives of students on this college campus. Hello, this is Terry Goodman, and I'm talking today to Beth Tipton, who is the director of the Wesley Foundation at the University of Virginia College at Wise. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Beth.
Well, I'm an ordained deacon in Full Connection in Holston Conference. I've been at the Wesley Foundation now for going on 14 years. I love it there. I love working with young people. And prior to that, I was a college student myself, so I feel like I've never really fully grown up.
Well, I understand that. When I was quite active in the Wesley Foundation at Radford for a while when I was in that vicinity. Tell me, though, what's life in the Wesley Foundation like in this day and age?
Well, the Wesley Foundation is a worshiping community, a home away from home. It's a way for college students to remain connected to a community of peers that have the same values and faith that they do while they're away. And some of them are close to home and are commuters. But most Wesley Foundations provide a building for study, worship, that sort of thing. Mission trip and outreach opportunities, small group opportunities. Right now we have at Wise a Run for God Club, a Couch to 5K program essentially that starts with a devotion and talks about stewardship of our bodies. And we usually have weekly worship of some format at every campus where there's a Wesley Foundation.
Okay, so are you active in the communities around you? What are some of the things you do? I've heard stories of cabbage and potatoes or apples or something out in spring break.
Absolutely. A couple spring breaks ago, we went to Florida and gleaned in the farmers' fields down there, and we've tried to bring that closer to home and glean apples out of backyards and that sort of thing and take it to food banks where people are hungry and get that food distributed to those people so that it doesn't go to waste. We've also been helping out with the local food bank at times. It's been a little while since we've been there. We do community outreach after the snowstorm a couple years ago. We helped a family take down a building and have been a part of helping rebuild as time goes on. Unfortunately, we're still in that process almost 2 years later. We also do on-campus outreach. So, for example, some of our students at Wise have to buy their own toilet paper, and so we'll go door to door and just hand out toilet paper as a grace and a gift, because that's an expense that no college student wants to have.
And it's something that they all need at some point.
Absolutely.
Now, how does the Wesley Foundation connect with the churches of the districts? If I remember correctly, each Wesley Foundation is sort of assigned a couple of districts around it, and there's supposed to be support from the local churches for the foundation. Is that still the formula?
That is correct. We are the Wesley Foundation at the smallest school that has a Wesley Foundation in Holston Conference. So our primary support comes from the Big Stone Gap District Tazewell District supports Radford and UVA Wise Wesley Foundation. So we have 2 districts that support us. Many local churches support us. In fact, we had many churches in many districts help us re-roof our building in the past couple of years for the first time since the building was built in 1969, and we're appreciative of all of those individuals and churches that helped with that. We could not do the ministry that we do without support from the districts, the local churches, and the individuals that send us financial support, prayers, and in many weeks, meals.
Well, in closing here, what would be one thing that you would want the local churches to take home, that you'd really want them to think about when they think about the Wesley Foundation?
It is very difficult to be a Christian and be a Lone Ranger. The community of faith is so important, and often when students go to college, it's the first time they're exposed to faiths other than their own. And so it is so important to connect your students, whether they're family, friends, with folks that... It's so important to connect your students, whether they're family or friends, with people who care about their values and can be a community of support, a home away from home. We say at Wise that Wesley is family.
Well, Beth, I want to thank you for sharing just a few minutes with us, and maybe I'll get back with you again at another time, and we'll hear a story of something Wesley has done to make a difference in the lives of the students. So God bless you in your ministry, and I wish you well, and the churches will be praying for you, I'm sure.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening to this edition of our podcast. I hope that you'll tune in again at a future date and learn more about what's happening in our annual conference.